And hello, welcome back YouTube. It's the middle of the night, 3:04 a.m. Friday, January 13th. I'm at the QT at 28th Drive in Cactus, which is the neighborhood where I grew up, one of the neighborhoods I grew up in. Also the neighborhood where I lived in my 20s, and a neighborhood that's been strongly impacted by the whole homelessness, fentanyl crisis. And I really wasn't going to shoot a video right now, but I went in hoping I could get one of the deals that involved like stuff they shoot in the kitchen, cook in the kitchen. And I don't know what the hell I was thinking. QT Kitchen's not open until 6 in the morning. So I ended up getting a couple of taquitos and a couple of bottles of the QT, which is really good, by the way. And I came out and somebody asked me for money. And that's been a real problem with QT lately. Like, there's always panhandlers on the outside. And in spite of the fact they got signs here that say, no trespassing, violators will be prosecuted in accordance with ARS 13-1502AI, and the same thing presumably in Spanish. QT doesn't really do much to stop the people that were, assumedly trespassing. If you're not here buying shit, I would assume you're trespassing. In fact, a lot of QTs, if you look in this general area, you can find where there used to be picnic tables. You can find the bolts that held picnic tables down where they've been cut to try to stop homeless people from hanging out. Anyway, I came out the door and some fool asked me for $1. Like a paper dollar? Like, do I carry that anymore? I have a pocket full of cards. Who the fuck carries cash anymore? Anyway, I'm wanting to go back and ask this guy what's up. So you asked me for $1. Like, you want a paper dollar? Do you understand people don't use cash anymore? Everybody uses cards, like these plastic things. Like, this is what you need if you're going to survive in society nowadays. Do you not have any of these? I mean, why don't you have any of these? I can't hear you. Okay, try not to pee on the seat. Thank you. And nobody wants to answer those questions. Motherfucker asked me for a paper dollar.
Oh yeah, he asked me for one too.
That's crazy. Like, do you carry paper dollars anymore?
No.
Me neither. Like, I have a whole pocket full of plastic and some scrap papers. I don't carry paper dollars.
I don't have as many as you, but yeah, that's what I have too.
And I have too many of those, and I have a lot of debt to go with it. I'm probably about 15 grand in debt right now. But at least I'm not homeless and I'm not strung out on fentanyl, so I'm better than that motherfucker. Right?
Touche on that one.
But I hardly ever come to this neighborhood. I don't live around here, but I grew up in this neighborhood.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm 52 years old. I'm a YouTuber. That's why I'm holding the phone like this. So I hope that doesn't bother you. I'm a YouTuber. I hope this doesn't bother you. But yeah, I grew up in a house about a mile from here, off of 35th and Cactus. So basically about 4 blocks north of Cactus, off of 37th Avenue.
Yeah,
Like that's.
I'm not from here.
Oh, where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Louisiana, but
The fuck you leave Louisiana for Arizona?
I was actually born on a military base. I was only lived there for maybe a few months of my life. You know what I mean? But I grew up in California, and then I lived in Safford for the rest of my time. I just barely moved here like a couple years ago. I don't live in this neighborhood either. Though. I was just visiting a friend.
Are your military parents as disappointed with you as mine are with me?
I actually never met my father. My mom was just married to the guy, and my mom's been a junkie my whole life. So
ouch. That sucks.
She would have absolutely no right to be disappointed in me because I've done 10 times better than she ever.
Yeah, fuck that bitch. No, I love my mom. My mom lives across the country. My mom would probably do anything for me, because she lives across the country. My dad lives that way. Like, I want to say 75th Avenue in Thunderbird. I have no relationship with my dad because he's military and he fucking hates me. And this is the neighborhood I grew up in. I just happen to be here tonight, and I'm shooting videos. This is what I do. And this neighborhood was a lot different in 1978.
Oh, I can imagine.
This is where I lived.
Right now.
This is where I lived in 1978. And then turning it around, like, this is where I lived in the 90s. My mother bought a house, I want to say in 1991, about a mile that way. Do you know where Sweetwater Road is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Sweetwater, about 33rd Avenue, Sweetwater, over by the school. my mom bought a house over there, and
yeah, I for a little bit I lived in the apartments that are right there on Sweetwater, like by the Dairy Queen.
Oh, you
like
mean on Larkspur?
Like if you turn on Sweetwater, and then those apartments right there on the corner. Those big.
Oh, the
big
ones on
ones.
Sweetwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were. Believe it or not, those are really nice apartments when I lived here in the 90s.
Yeah,
they're pretty ghetto now.
Well, I mean a little bit, but they're of the nicer, on the nicer side.
Oh yeah, no, there's way worse.
Yeah,
but
they're pretty nice on the inside too.
The 7-Eleven has been there since I was, I want to say 8 years old.
I tripped out. I was over here a few weeks ago.
The QT is comparatively new, but the 7-Eleven's
been the same friend a few weeks ago, man, and I went over here to the 7-Eleven, and there was about 100 or 150 people standing over by the telephones, and had some guy over there that he had some name tag around his fucking neck too. He was like from some support something rather or another.
What the fuck?
Looked like a fucking creepo, dude. But he said that he was offering to get to let people come to his house and stay the night, dude. And he was like intently trying to convince this black dude over there to come to his house, and this dude was like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? And because me and my ex were over here together, and he was like asking us, and I was like, hell no, I'm not trying to wake up like the movie Saw with my ankles fucking sawed over.
Oh,
dude.
damn.
Yeah, he was a weirdo for sure. I'm like, no, thank you.
Maybe he was sincere.
He probably was, but he just gave off that weird vibe.
Am I giving off that vibe?
No.
Okay, just checking. I'm pointing the video that way just because I don't want to overexpose you. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I mean, my videos get viewed by probably 150 people. But anyway, that's where I'm from. I'm Dan, by the way.
CJ.
CJ, you seem interesting.
I've had an interesting story.
Oh, dare I ask how old you are?
32.
32. Okay. I'm 20 years older than you, so I guess I'm old now.
Yeah.
When I was 32, I was homeless, if that means anything to you.
Yeah.
I went through a really brutal divorce at that age and lost everything. So.
I went through a very brutal breakup, but might as well have been a divorce. Very brutal relationship, very brutal breakup.
Well, that was interesting. I kind of had to stop recording because it was actually kind of getting personal, and she seemed really nice. So I'm still here in front of QT. It's 3:39 a.m. Thursday night, Friday, January 13th, 2026. Yeah, turning into a really lonely night, and I hate the fact that Amazon won't let me work more than 6 consecutive days in a row. Because if I could be anything doing, if I could be anywhere doing anything right now, I'd probably be in Tennessee banging Miley Cyrus. Just throwing that out there. But if I could be realistically doing anything right now, I'd be at Amazon driving my forklift. I'm really happy when I'm at Amazon driving my forklift. I'm not really happy right now. Like right now, it's almost 4 in the morning. I'm just in my car in my old neighborhood where I used to own a house, but I don't. And where I used to live with my dad, but I don't. Kind of being bewildered of how there's a QT right here. Because there didn't used to be a QT right here when I lived here. The strip mall, there was a chunk of the strip mall that was over here, and there used to be a really good Mexican restaurant over here. I don't remember what it was called, but I know my dad liked it. When I was a kid, we used to come here and eat pretty regularly. And I remember it being very good, but that whole building is gone. And now there's a QT here. I'm forgetting the name of that woman. I think her name was CJ. She was really nice. She was kind of cute. I actually invited her to my place. She's going to meet some friend up the road. But I took her number. She got my number. I don't know that I'll ever hear from her again. I kind of doubt it. Her number is not through a proper cell phone service. It's through an app, which I used one of those last year. I'm sure my number's since been relinquished and expired because I stopped using that app. But Yeah, so she only has access to that number when she has Wi-Fi, and she didn't have Wi-Fi here. But I don't know, I hope I hear from her again. I was really hoping I could talk her into wanting to come to my place and just kind of hang out and watch movies and stuff, so I wouldn't be alone, because I'm alone way too often. And to be fair, like, I don't have to be alone right now. I could be at Priscilla's place being massively sexually frustrated because she don't want to, like, she wants me to lay with her. I don't, that's not cool. This building here used to be a Bash's. I don't know what the hell's here now. This part of town has really gone downhill since I lived here. The Brass Armadillo Antique Mall. So I guess places like that are like basically indoor flea markets. Interesting, I didn't know Phoenix really had any, so it's good to know there's one where the Bash's used to be. My God, my car is making some horrible noises. I don't understand why it sounds like that. I'm going to walk around it right now and take a look at it. Nothing looks out of place. God, it sounds horrible though. What the hell is all that noise? Holy shit. Three more people walking southbound on 28th Drive. They look kind of sketchy. I thought CJ was cute. I mean, not supermodel cute, but love to spend the night just chilling with her. I mean, even if it didn't get sexual, it'd just be nice to have some company, watching movies and listening to music and stuff. I don't know why I'm hanging out in this neighborhood. There's so much connection here. Like, this is where I lived from, I don't know, age 6 on. I was like 15, somewhere in there when I got frustrated with my dad and his Dundee ex-wife. 4 people just sitting at that bus stop. Like, it's their homeless shelter on the right. This thing on the right, it's been a Calvary Christian Church for a long time, but let me right on there so you can get some video of it. It's been Calvary Christian Church for a long time. This is Windrose Drive right here. The thing on the right that looks like a strip mall. It looks like a strip mall because it was a strip mall. It's a strip mall that used to be a shopping center. It used to be WesTown. Before Metro Center was built, this was like the shopping center for the North Valley. It was called WesTown. And all the buildings got taken over by Calvary Church. I was actually thinking about getting out of the car and walking through it, but I've noticed that they've enclosed it. That used to be an open air walkway right there, which says Calvary Phoenix and all the doors and shit. Oh, here comes a really old guy who shouldn't still be working at his age. I'm gonna walk over and talk to me. I don't want to talk to you, old dude. It's sad you're not retired. Yeah, that used to be a walkway, and it was like an open air shopping center. I don't even remember what the anchors were, and by the time I was like 8, 9 years old, like, it had pretty much fallen into disrepair due to Metro Center being 1.5 miles to the south. There's another one of the walkways, but it's all fenced off on the right. You know, there were like 2 walkways, one that went across it north and south, and doors on the inside. And anyway, when I was a kid, what I used to come here for, oh, and this sign is awesome. That was the WesTown Shopping Center sign. And maybe there's some images on YouTube from when it was a shopping center. this sign is pretty neat because it doesn't meet current sign codes at all. It's ginormous, but it's here via it's here because of grandfather clauses that, like, basically what a grandfather clause is something that already exists, can't be eliminated even though current laws prohibit it. So yeah, it's the Calvary church sign, Calvary Phoenix, and the big star above it, and it's a digital sign with a bunch of bullshit on it. I don't know why it's all coming up as white right now, because when I look at the sign, it says early learning, enroll today, birth through 5 years, but what I see on my phone is just a big white rectangle. And then the blue star above it. The blue star used to be white, and it used to say WesTown. It used to say WesTown, and I don't remember what the anchor stores are here. I think by the time I moved here at like 6 years old, the anchor stores had already gone out of business. And what was left of the little strip mall shopping center was just kind of hanging by a thread, you know, just trying to rent out these retail spaces. And Calvary Church has taken over this like a long time ago. They got their digital steeple over there. These are ridiculous. Like, this is how churches make money. They make a steeple. It's an edifice with the Christian cross. But what they really do is they get a whole lot of money from fucking wireless communications companies to have cell sites hidden in these fancy-ass crosses. And that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit that Jesus threw people out of the temple for. What's happening? Are you a member of this church by chance?
What's that?
Are you a member of this church by chance?
It's none of your business. You're trespassing.
I was curious. I'm trespassing? How am I trespassing?
Because I said you're trespassing. That's what
Wait,
I'm here for.
are you the arbitrator of trespassing? Do you determine who's trespassing?
911?
911? No,
You're
8670.
trespassing.
How am I trespassing?
I'm telling you to leave, and if you don't leave...
I'm telling you to leave.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Under what authority?
Under my authority. What's your authority?
You don't have that authority.
You don't have an authority either. What's your authority? You're an old man that should be retired right now. Why ain't you retired? Isn't it sad that you're not retired? At your age, you should already be retired. How old are you, dude? I think it's horribly sad. Like, I think my grandfather died younger than you, and like he got to retire for 20 years. Why aren't you retired? Why are you still working? How old are you, dude? Why are you still working at your age? That's terrible. Are you a legal authority? I mean, do you have a badge? Is there a cop badge or something?
Stay back. Don't get too close.
And what if I do?
I'm telling you, you're trespassing and you're getting...
I'm telling you, you're too close. I'm telling you, you're an old man. You should be at home with your wife and your grandkids. You shouldn't be working at your age. Do you understand? You shouldn't be working at your age. You're too old for working. Do you not understand
Yes,
that?
ma'am, this is a security officer at
This
the,
is an old man who
12,
shouldn't be working at his
612.
age. This old man shouldn't be working, and he's like trying to work. It's just a crazy thing. Thank God I'm not a dangerous person. Thank God, if I was a dangerous person, I could have ended that man. He's gonna end soon anyway, because he's old. Anyway, craziness. Let me get my shit back here. And my trespassing. I'm just chilling. My old. So anyway, right there where it says Calvary, that used to be a Goodwill store when I was I don't know, when I was a kid, when I was a young kid. I want to say like 8, 9 years old. I used to come over here, and my favorite thing to do back then was to buy 8-track tapes, because I might be 12, 13 years old. Like, I would buy 8-track tapes there. And about 1979, 1980, like, nobody wanted 8-track tapes anymore because they were considered obsolete. So people were donating them to Goodwill, and Goodwill was selling for like 25 cents a piece. So I bought all these 8-track tapes, and bought all these 8-track tapes, and I think that boy could point a weapon at me. Some crazy shit right there. That guy takes his job way too seriously. Any man that old should be retired. That's craziness. Alright, moving on. That was just fucking retarded. Anyway, yeah, so there was a Goodwill there, and that was close enough that my father and my stepmother would let me ride my bicycle over there, and I could buy all kinds of 8-track tapes for $0.25 a piece. And yeah, so I remember buying back then, I want to say like 1981, 1982, on summer vacation. By then I think I had already moved in with my mother in Wyoming, but I collected the entire discographies of the Electric Light Orchestra, which had been a favorite band since I was a kid. Same thing, since I was still a kid, but like since I was a young kid. I also think I collected like the entire discographies, or at least sizable chunks of the Moody Blues and what do we call it? The Moody Blues and Steve Miller Band. I think I could have gone on the freeway right there, but I don't want to deal with all the flashing. What the hell? Oh, it looked like there was another lane going on. This is the frontage road here. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like what all bands I collected back then on 8-track. Definitely ELO. That was by far my favorite. But also the Steve Miller Band and the Moody Blues and Grand Funk Railroad, the Allman Brothers Band, Jimi Hendrix, Boston. I mean, back then Boston's category was 2 albums, like the first one and then Don't Look Back. But yeah, I collected tons of 8-track tapes because 25 cents was affordable for me as a 12-year-old kid. Like I would do what do you call it? I do yard work. Like I'd mow lawns and rake leaves and trim trees and stuff like that, trim bushes, weed lawns, and I didn't get a lot of money for doing it, but I got enough money that I could buy 8 tracks for $0.25 at the Goodwill, where there is now a church with a really old man that seems like he needs to protect that property. Oh wow, I wasn't expecting this. I gotta take the Sherrill Drive exit, which is labeled as a Sherrill Drive exit. You know, that old man, I find it really wild that he couldn't just talk to me. That society has degraded, and that guy's old enough, like he remembers society not being this degraded. That society has degraded to a point where he couldn't just simply ask me what I was doing. And he couldn't talk to me like a fellow human being, like a fellow Arizonan, like a fellow Phoenician. That he couldn't do that. That he just had to come at me like some kind of a enemy combatant. Which is crazy, because that guy looked like he was in his 80s. Like, seriously, if I'd have punched him in his face, I could have ended that man. I mean, and I'm an old man myself. I'm 52 years old. But seriously, if that guy wanted to come at me, he was kind of coming at me, I could have ended that man. I'm a pretty fit dude. If I'd have buried my fist in that man's face, I don't think he would have recovered. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not that kind of a person. But I'm just saying, it wouldn't have taken a lot of effort for me to end that man's life with my own bare hands. Or end that man's life with my car as I was driving the circles around him. Like, what was he pointing at me? I don't think that was a real gun. Will he point a taser at me? Because I think an old man with a taser, and I'm talking old man, that guy was like 90 fucking years old. An old man with a taser versus a middle-aged man with a Saturn. That would have been no contest. Like, seriously, that guy's gonna shoot a taser at my Saturn? I could have straight fucking flattened and ended that man's life with my Saturn. And it would have taken little to no effort at all. I'm not going to do that. That's not the right thing to do. So I'm walking around Metro Parkway on the west side. This is the Metro Light Rail station that's finally being built, like over 2 years after the mall has gone out of business. It's kind of funny walking through here because it's real obvious like how this failed. And Metro Center Light Rail Station partner does. Metro Center doesn't exist anymore. Why are we doing this? Why are we spending our taxes on this? Yeah, the inner side of Metro Parkway doesn't even have a fucking sidewalk. This was built in the early 70s, mid-70s. No fucking sidewalk. No consideration for the fact that, like, people walk. But it's fascinating. Like, there's where the rail's going to go overhead whenever it gets finished, if it gets finished. I do believe it'll get finished. I think if funds are earmarked to it, it'll get finished. God, I'm so perplexed by that old man. Like, what did he think he was going to do to me? Oh my God. Like, he's lucky I'm a nice person. He really is. I could have ended that man's life. I could have punched him in the face and killed him. I could have plowed him down with my Saturn and killed him, and he's acting all bold. For what? Calvary Christian Church? Who's built this edifice to Christ, which is really just a cell phone tower? This is why Jesus was angry in the temple. Because those people were trying to make money in the temple. And I'm seeing Calvary Christian Church trying to make money with their temple. With a fucking cell site. Oh, this is good. College America. College America. And this is a building that rings a lot of bells for me and brings back a lot. God, that's a part of town I try to stay out of. Because my memories and my bipolar just goes crazy when I come through here. Because there's so many memories. Does that architecture mean anything to anybody that watches this channel? What do you see when you look at that building? Because I'll tell you what I see. I see Circuit City. Do you remember the old Circuit City advertisements? With the electrical plug that does the animation and it plugs in and that's the plug and it should be red. And it's Circuit City. And this was one of the last Circuit Cities. And I remember coming here, I shopped here in the late 80s and in the 90s. I came in here when they were selling DivX players and looked at that and was like, yeah, I don't think so. In fact, I think this is the Circuit City that I bought my deluxe edition of Gnarls Barkley that has the animation flip book in the packaging and the DVD with the music videos on it and all the extra bonus tracks. Oh, if you don't know what Gnarls Barkley is, that's CeeLo Green along with Danger Mouse. I did 2 albums, so they're both amazing, but that first Gnarls Barkley album is, oh my God, it's you know, I've never sat down and tried to make a ranking of like the 50 greatest, you know, what I consider to be the 50 greatest albums of all time. Gnarls Barkley, if Gnarls Barkley don't make the top 50 on my list, it's because there's 50 other albums that are somehow better and more relevant, but off the top of my head, I can't think of 50 albums more relevant than Gnarls Barkley. And I got like the best physical release ever made at that building right there when it was a Circuit City. Now it's apparently some kind of school. So I'm just wandering around. I'm assuming the police have been called on me by that old man, who should be very grateful I didn't end his life, over at Calvary Christian Church, which is doing something that I find personally to be blasphemy. In an old strip mall that meant a lot to me as a child, over at WesTown. God, that guy was crazy. Why couldn't he just talk to me like a human being? We could have had a really good conversation. Generally, I like talking to older people. I do. Like, older people are a link to the past. That guy could tell me stuff about the 1970s, and I'm too young to really understand. That guy could have probably told me stuff about the 1950s and the 1960s that I wasn't alive for. But instead he wants to freak out about how he's determined I'm trespassing. And I'm not gonna lie, of course I was fucking trespassing. But I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't vandalizing anything. I wasn't causing a problem. I wasn't a threat. And I'm in something that could be interpreted as available public parking. I didn't cross, I didn't pass any signs that do not enter. I didn't pass any fences. I didn't storm nothing. I just driving in stuff that's freely available. We could have had a conversation. We could have had a conversation about what used to be there and how that used to be the WesTown shopping center and what Calvary Christian Church is like. And when I asked him if he's a member of that church, he says, "It's not none of your business." Motherfucker, I'm a human trying to talk to you as another human. You just gonna say none of your business? You wanna know what's none of your business? What's none of your business with what I'm doing here? That man should be thankful I didn't end his life. Because I don't have a lot to live for right now. I really don't. I'm a pretty miserable person. I don't know where my younger daughter is. My older daughter's on. And I'm not happy about that. I don't have much of a relationship with my parents anymore. Basically, I'm a guy in his 50s who's a failure at life and is really unhappy. I got a job I enjoy a lot, you know, but I don't feel like I have anything that resembles a future. I really don't. And right now, it's the first day I've had off after six nights of working and 6 nights of absolutely loving and enjoying my job. Now I'm off, and it's 4 in the morning, and I'm just wandering around Metro Center because I'm lonely. I'm lonely and I'm bored. And granted, I do have a girlfriend that would like me to join her, but she don't want. And I won't be hanging out with a woman that I previously had great sex with that don't want to, because that's upsetting to me. So I'm walking around Metro Center, and I'm thinking about how much this complex here means to me and meant to me. And I'm thinking about how, as a kid in the mid '80s, this was called golf and stuff. And how in the late '80s, and none of that stuff was there. Just the castle off in the distance was there. In the late '80s, I was an adult, so I could come here all I wanted. Castles and coasters. Yeah, golf and stuff. I come here all I wanted. And granted, I didn't have a lot of money to spend on it, but I would come here and just play Tetris. That was my thing. When I was 19 years old, 1989, 18 years old, I came over here and I played Tetris. And I had a social circle back then. I wasn't such a lonely guy back then. I had a lot of friends. I had a social circle. I was still kind of a loner. Other people knew, it's like, "Where's Dan? Just probably over golf and stuff, playing Tetris." And people would go over there looking for me. And most of my social circle hung out at Metro Center at the food court, which is on the other side of the Walmart. I feel that Walmart was a big part of what ended Metro Center. And maybe I'll get to that later. But yeah. I wonder if my YouTube channel still has a video of me and my younger daughter Lily riding that roller coaster, the Patriot. I think it does. I don't pay attention to what's on this channel anymore. I've been doing this YouTube channel for so fucking long. The stuff that the stuff on this channel that it predates the Dan vlog is interesting. Feel free to browse it. I did a POV video on that coaster with my younger daughter Lily. But with my older daughter Allison, like, this was a special place for us as well. When I first started doing karaoke, I was living out of my vehicle and working at Fat Cats. For a while I was staying at a hotel. So I'm at the corner of Metro Parkway. Wow, and that sign is fucked up. That on video. These big signs, these big City of Phoenix street signs, when we have major windstorms, the wind catches them and flips them in the wrong direction. That's old school style Phoenix. That's a really old school style Phoenix sign. Say on 29th Avenue. 29th Avenue and Metro Parkway, by the way. But yeah, this one's awesome. it's flipped the wrong direction because it's been hit by the weather. And that guy is coming in at a red light. And it's, yeah, I'm just walking behind the Volvo. I'm not trying to get plowed over as a pedestrian while I'm kind of drunk wandering around the old mall. Well, and there's a bus. What are the buses are running now? It's 4:07. About 4 a.m. is when a lot of the Phoenix buses start running. I can't quite see what bus route that is. Route 90. Route 90 East. I can't quite read it. Route 90 East 2. I can't read it because my vision's bad. Holy shit, I need to get LASIK so bad. Anyway, this sign is funny to me because see how it's facing to the right when the stoplight poles go to the left? So it's facing that way because the wind has basically whipped it around 180 degrees. But see where it says Metro Parkway and it says west and points to the left and east and points to the right. Well, where I'm standing, west is to the right and east is to the left. And that thing is literally flipped around 180 degrees. And what's the city of Phoenix doing about it? Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. This Mayor Kate is negligent as fuck. Mayor Kate can't be bothered to fix any of this. She's kind of doing something about the homelessness crisis, because interestingly enough, I haven't had a lot of interactions with homeless people in this adventure tonight. The homeless people that used to be all over the place around the Finish Line Lounge and bar, whatever it's called, Finish Line, the bar that I went to for last call. By the way, I had a really good, the bartender there remembered me. She totally did. I gave her some information about karaoke. I talked to another person about karaoke. I would love to do karaoke there on Friday and Saturdays. All right, here's one of the walkways. This used to be open. This used to be a walkway, bike route, whatever, along the north side of the canal. There's the canal and the train station, but it looks like they fenced this one off. So I can't continue that way. It's fenced. I mean, I can get over that fence without a lot of effort, but I'm not supposed to continue that way. So where am I walking? I don't know. Part of me wants to go north and walk around the Walmart. I think I want to walk south, see what's going on to the south. I can pretty much bet money that psychopathic old man that was the security guard for Calvary Christian Church has called the police on me. Have they actually responded? Who knows? Who knows? I'm sure I'm on video, though. I'm sure you got my license plate number. I'm sure I'm on video doing laps around him. They have fun when they review that videotape, but like, obviously the guy didn't want to fuck you up, or he could have just plowed you down with his Saturn. He was just fucking with you, old man. He was just fucking with you, old man. All right. This is good. This is the so that's the Arizona Canal on the right. To the left is the flood canal. It's basically the overflow canal. So that's our water supply on the right. On the left, that's where the water goes when there's monsoon storms and there's lots of water that needs to go somewhere. That didn't used to be there. I lived in this neighborhood in the 1970s, and in 1978, 1979, this area flooded like crazy because that water, the flood drainage canal on the left did not exist. So all the flood waters went freaking everywhere. I'm trying to remember what Metro Center looked like when that happened. I don't really recall their parking lot flooded, but I do recall a lot of other stuff in this part of town flooding in a big way. So I do some content about just kind of urbanism and alternate modes of transportation other than cars. And one of my favorite alternate to car transportation things is the this bike route that I'm walking on that you can't really see because it's too fucking dark, along the Arizona Canal, which was something I really enjoyed back in the early 90s, I used to regularly ride back and forth between my place, which is the house I went to earlier up at 33rd Avenue in Sweetwater, to my best friend's place in Old Town Scottsdale. Well, just north of Old Town Scottsdale. He was around, I'm trying to think exactly where it was. It was basically Granite Reef and Chaparral. And I would go back and forth. But the great thing about this is not only do you have the walkways, but on this thing, and probably y'all really can't see it because it's sadly not very well lit. There should be way more lighting through this, and hopefully I don't get jumped and mugged, because God knows there's people way crazier than me out here. But the thing about this, when they built it, and they built it in the late 1980s, is they made it so people who were riding bikes on this didn't have to deal with the traffic on Stroads. So it's got overpasses and underpasses for all the major thoroughfares. I'm thinking this one was built later. I don't remember this one being here in the 90s. I feel like back in the 90s I had to cross 29th Avenue, which was not hard. There's not that much traffic on 29th Avenue. It was never difficult to cross 29th Avenue. Half the time, like if I made it 29th Avenue, I just wanted to roll up to the mall or whatever. But yeah, we got an underpass here. This is kind of neat. Kind of dark on the other end. Hopefully there's nobody waiting here to fucking shank me. And if they do, hopefully they will kill me and put me out of my misery. Holy shit, it is dark right here. Yeah, the lighting should really be better on this. I love non-car infrastructure. And this is really good in theory. But the lack of lighting makes it kind of scary. Like if I was in a situation where I had zero fear of death, or I didn't have zero fear of death, like that would be a scary place to walk. Anyway, yeah. So that's how that works. There's the Walmart that destroyed Metro Center, off to the right. That big building off to the left used to be a Best Buy. It's been a vacant building for a long, long time. Yeah, I think they opened another Best Buy further to the north. Anyway, if I stay on this bike route, it will take me to... Dang, I gotta pee again. I only drank 3 drinks, but they were pretty strong at both bars. Had Metro Center to the north. The food court was just north of the Walmart, to the left there. When I was a kid in the 70s and the 80s, that was like the greatest food court ever. You can see some great footage of it in the very popular movie Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Back when there used to be a Farrell's ice cream parlor up above, and the Gold Mine arcade up above, and down below there was an ice skating rink, a really awesome ice skating rink. And you know, people don't really associate ice skating with Arizona, but the best ice skating rink I've ever seen in my life was right here at Metro Center in Arizona. And there was also and I wasn't old enough to go into it. I was just a kid, but they had designed the food court up above the ice skating rink to look. Oh, that's a power plant over there, or power station or something. It's that SRP thing. Not my problem. Or maybe it's an APS thing. I'm not really sure if that's APS or SRP, to be sure. That's not the power substation. All right, well, I didn't get mugged walking through it last time, so I'll feel comfortable to walk through it again. Although I really don't remember there being an underpass here when I used this bike route regularly in the early 90s, so I'm just going to show how easy it is to go across 29th Avenue. There's also a really nice bike route on the other side. In fact, if I remember right, the one on the other side is cement, so it's smoother, and it connects to Cortez Park, which is over at 35th and Dunlap. Used to have a side chick over that way. Her name was Tracy. I kind of miss her. I haven't heard from her in probably over a year, so probably not a good idea to knock at her door at 4:16 in the morning. Actually, 4:18 in the morning. This clock. Oh wait, no, 4:16 in the morning. The iPhone clock. It's accurate. It's the Saturn clock. It's always two minutes behind the rest of the world. there's an Arizona Canal right there on my right. I was already like a week behind uploading my vlog, so this might put me 2 weeks behind, but whatever. It's Thursday night, and Amazon won't let me work 7 days in a row, and I absolutely have no desire to be at Priscilla's place when she don't want to fuck. So, not there. And what's her name? Fucking Jazzy invited me. So I was going to talk more about Jazzy. So I had told her earlier this week that I was going to be off on Thursday, and she's like, "Oh, we can maybe hang out Thursday night." I'm like, "Cool." And so I woke up like mid-afternoon. I don't know exactly what time it was. Mid-afternoon, might have been early evening. In fact, it probably was early evening. I think it was a little bit after my alarms went off, probably 6:30 in the evening. So if I was working, I'd have been like, "Oh shit, I'm late for work." But I would have still got up and went into work and, you know, put a little PTO on it. But anyway, I messaged her to let her know that I just woke up and to see if she still wanted to hang out. And then she said she was meeting some friends at a bar in Scottsdale, and I forget the name of the bar, but she said she was meeting some friend, hanging out with some friends at blah blah blah, name of bar in Scottsdale, if I wanted to meet up with them. And I'm like, cool, kind of tired, I kind of feel like I just want to go back to bed. I was really hoping she would respond with, "Hey, let me come join you and hang out before we go to the bar." That's what I was hoping for. Like that was going to happen, right? And then I think she responded with, "Yeah, I'm tired. I think I'm going to go back to sleep and wake up a little after 8. Probably not going there until 10 myself." I can't remember the name of the bar. Anyway, when I woke up, I want to say at about 12, I woke up about 11:30 p.m. More castles and coasters on the left. It's too dark, y'all can't see it. When I woke up about 12:30 a.m., she was the first messages, like, even before checking Priscilla, I checked to see if I had gotten a message back from Jazzy, and I did. No, I didn't. I take that back. The last thing I got was the thing her saying that she was probably going to sleep till 8:30. So I was kind of bummed that like 8:30 came and went, and she still hadn't messaged me. And by 11:30 p.m., like, she apparently didn't think of me again, which I guess shows how unimportant I am to her, and I should take a hint and move on. By the way, that building to the left, it's a shopping center. It used to be part of, never been part of Metro Center properly. It's changed names several times. I can't think of any of the names it's ever had. But once upon a time, that corner of the strip mall there, and we're looking at the very back ass end of it, used to be an amazing record store called Monkey Mambo. Oh God, Monkey Mambo was like one of the greatest record stores ever. I remember buying so many, like early to mid 1970s Stevie Wonder 45s for like a quarter a pop in the late 90s. Oh God, they had just everything in there. VHS tapes and 45s and 8-track tapes and cassettes and CDs, and just love that store. I'm not sure when they went out of business, probably shortly after 2000. That was my spot in the late 90s. And mind you, I didn't live in this neighborhood in the late 90s. By the late 90s, I was living elsewhere in the valley. But I still came up here to go to Monkey Mambo. There is a Goodwill in that strip mall, not in the part of the building I'm looking at, but a little bit further off to the right, a little further off that way. I bought a turntable there, which is still sitting in storage, still needs a little work. I got a whole bunch of turntables sitting in storage, still need a little work. Now this is interesting. So I'm on the bike route. There's no paved connection to the I-17 access road. Just the route goes underneath the freeway. So I'm just gonna follow it. Hopefully I don't get mugged or jumped. As you can see, it looks lit underneath, but it's awfully dark here. There's a sign there. It's not showing a video. It says caution maintenance vehicle in tunnel. Interesting. Yeah. Didn't even say, wow, got some garbage down here. Might have some homeless people squatting down here. More power to them. Ooh, I kicked something. I got so much garbage down here. It's gross. This was definitely here in the early 90s when I used to roll through here and go to Scottsdale. I always went under the freeway here. Driving to my friend Rob, not to be confused with my mechanic Rob, but my old friend Rob who I've lost touch with many years ago. Yeah, this is the route to Old Town Scottsdale. Coming through here on a mountain bike. I had a couple different mountain bikes back then. Actually, I had 3 of them. I had my Montague. I had my my super light one that I stole. But generally speaking, I'm not a thief. I just felt the need to steal that one. It was a Cannondale, like a police style Cannondale. I found it in front of an arcade. I figured any kid that didn't value that bike enough to lock it up deserved to lose it. So took that bitch. So I had my Cannondale, and then I had the bike that my mother had given me, which was really nice. It was a Specialized Hard Rock. Oh my God, it smells like piss through here in a big way. It's pretty gross. I don't remember it ever smelling like piss through here before. There was a person squatting down there. Probably disturbed his or her slumber, and that's not a good thing. I don't think I've gone through there anytime in this century. It was probably the 1990s last time I went through there. Now I'm on the east side of I-17. I just got a pop-up notice telling me I have less than 10% on my battery, and there's a curb, and you all probably can't see it because it's dark. Turning around, there's kind of a dirt path to the freeway access road, but it's oh shit, just realized I don't have the Obama phone. I must have left the Obama phone in my car. Anyway, I'm gonna keep walking on the bike route here. So some litter there, probably y'all can't see that, but there's a soda fountain drink. There's quite a bit of trash around here. I mean, it's dark, it's kind of hard to see. It's not a lot, but there's enough. Power lines overhead, that's always been here. But yeah, we got the big drainage, and it's fenced off and walled off and deep, and has cement sides on the left side, which is the flood overflow on the left for drainage, and on the right is the Arizona Canal. That's like kind of our water source here in Phoenix. One of the major sources of water through Phoenix. I don't know what all these buildings are on the right. You'd think I would know that as much as I know about Phoenix, but I just don't. I do know there's if I go south there, on the other side of Dunlap, there's some kind of a trade school that kind of specializes in nursing, where I used to DJ their annual Christmas party, which I did like 3 years in a row. It's probably been about 4 or 5 years since they've called me, so I don't see me getting that gig back. But it was fun while it lasted. I got that through a friend named Raphael. Made that happen. One of many gay men that knew I had bi leanings that kind of thought I would switch teams for him, and that didn't happen, and I think he was disappointed. Yeah, what can I say? I really like vagina. Anyway, so this overpass that I'm coming to, this is 29th Avenue. Yeah, 29th Avenue. On the east side of I-17. Now, as a child growing up in that neighborhood, I-17 was my boundary. I was not allowed to cross I-17, which isn't to say that I didn't sometimes do it, but if something happened and I had to call my parents to come rescue me, and I was on the other side of I-17 with my bicycle, I'd have been in big trouble. So yeah, I can just imagine the trouble I would have gotten into if something bad had happened to my bicycle when I rode down this canal all the way to 5th Avenue in Old Town Scottsdale at the age of like 13 or 14. But anyway, I survived that. Bike just did just fine. I rode this bike route all the way there, absolutely enjoyed it, and I rode back. So yeah, this non-street oriented bicycle infrastructure, it's been here in Phoenix for a long time, but as you can see, we haven't had a single bicycle pass us. In fact, the only other person I've passed since I've been on this was an apparently homeless person squatting underneath I-17 inside the tunnel. Wasn't down to have a conversation with that person. Had a great conversation with CJ though, to the point I had to turn off my video. I really hope she messages me again. I mean, yeah, she's trouble. She is, but maybe she could be the woman who makes my loneliness go away and makes me a little less suicidal. All right, so check that out. Here we go. What's up? All right, pedestrian rolling through. You got some tunes. This 29th Avenue. Why I haven't been through here in a long time. So I think the light rail is going to go in this general area, which is why there's so much construction here. I still don't know what's up with all the parking garages over there. The guy walking, you know, he's a guy going somewhere. To be fair, he seemed to be walking with a sense of purpose. So probably not strung out on fentanyl like so many of the other people around here. Like probably the person that I walked past underneath the bridge. No, that's just a guy down his luck, trying to get somewhere. Been there, done that. 20th Avenue, walking over the drainage canal. That's what used to be a canal. This is way bigger. And if it seems like it's overkill, come to Phoenix during the monsoon season and watch how it can fucking flood. Now, granted, it's been kind of a monsoon, or what they call a non-soon, because it hasn't been much of anything in recent years, but sometimes in the Phoenix monsoons, it's, oh, sidewalk is closed and we got a detour sign here and I'm walking on dirt. Oh, and I'm almost falling on my ass. Oh, fuck. Just gonna pull out my Obama phone and put some light on the seal to see what I'm walking through, but I don't have it with me. Wow, there's a lot of construction here. Apparently there is a detour for cars and I'm on the detour for pedestrians. And God bless them for actually making a detour for pedestrians. All too often when there's construction like that, pedestrians just get left behind and have to figure out where the hell they're supposed to walk, and usually have to walk in front of cars and often just get flattened. So much construction here. I haven't gone, you know, I haven't really gone through it all, not even as in a vehicle. Wow, that's kind of neatly that. They got tarps blocking the drainage. Barricade on its side. That's classy. Not quite sure what's going on there. We got an extra curb. Maybe. Oh, it looks like we got a future light rail station here. Maybe I'm going to rile up some security here. Be fun if I do. I always enjoy riling up security, but again, am I trespassing? Yeah, probably. But I'm just trying to get some footage. I'm trying to be curious. I'm curious. I'm not a person who is into vandalizing anything. I just like to see infrastructure being put in. Yeah, we definitely got a light rail station going in here. And I'm assuming that's security. Oh yeah, I'm just walking, shooting some video. Hey, any word when this is going to actually open?
I don't know what their opening date is. We'll have the track placed probably by about April of this year.
Oh, that's sooner than I thought.
Then they got to go through testing and stuff.
Of course.
It'll take longer for that. But as far as track will be installed probably by March, April.
Such a shame they didn't get this built before Metro Center shut down.
Would have been nice, right? Well,
Like,
I think they got future plans for Metro Center or something.
God, I hope so.
They say they do, so that's why it's there.
It's really sad what that area is like now. I grew up, I'm like 52 years old. I've lived in the Valley since 1972.
Oh, okay.
I'm shooting a little video. I'm a YouTube vlogger, but I grew up in this part of town.
Oh, okay.
Like as a kid, like went to Moon Valley High School. Like grew up around 35th Avenue and Cactus.
Okay, so you've seen it when it was in its heyday.
Oh yeah. I remember going there in the 70s. In the mid 70s, it was all about, like, Metro Center was the place to be.
We'll give it a few years, maybe we'll be again.
God, I hope so, and I hope this can make it happen.
It's
Just
looking good.
anyway, just so you know, I'm not fucking with nothing. I'm just trying to get some footage of maybe something good happening in the future. Have a good night, man. That was cool. See, that's what the security guard at Metro Center should have been like. So, wow. Looking in, like, not April of, like, this year, but April of next year. That's not that far off. I don't know. The last thing I saw about redevelopment of Metro Center, okay, and now I'm coming into some construction. I should get the fuck out of here because there's big vehicles and stuff. But the last thing I saw about construction at Metro Center was talking about putting, like, an upscale, what do you call it? Multi-use. Wow, they got a whole construction crew going on here. Multi-use, what you call it? Type development, where basically you have retail and office and residential all mixed together. Mixed use. That's the term I'm looking for. Mixed use. But the whole thing that they lost me at was upscale. This area has never been upscale. This area was middle class when middle class was a thing. And I'm talking 1970s, 1980s, early 1990s. Pretty much all the 1990s. Middle class really isn't a thing anymore. So things are either lower than middle class or higher than middle class. And this is beyond lower than middle class. And that's why people tend to respond to me so negatively, because they just see a person walking. If you're not driving like you're a second-class citizen, you're walking. You must be a junkie. I'm glad that guy was at least cool about talking to me. Yeah. Most people around here, that you see that are walking because they're homeless and they're spun out on fentanyl. And before the fentanyl, they were spun out on meth. And yeah, this area has been really bad for 20 plus years. When parts of the valley became better and parts of the valley became worse, this place became much worse. Mixed use developments, I'm not going to say they can't work, because they absolutely can work. They can. But the trouble with mixed use stuff is it all, at least in my opinion, the problem with mixed use developments is they're all geared towards, all right, I'm at Mountain View, and I think this is where the light rail is supposed to do a 90-degree left-hand turn. Do not enter. All right, we got a short pedestrian path going this way. This would be a million times better video had I done it in the daytime, but in the daytime it wouldn't be over here. I just got an account update from Wells Fargo. I don't know what that's about. I'll deal with that later. I'm sure I'm still in the black, so I'm not stressing about it. Yeah, this little stretch of Mountain View has always been here. Mountain View, by the way, is the half-mile grid street between Peoria and, between Dunlap and Peoria, which is the two major grid streets that Metro Center is between. There are areas where Mountain View is a pretty substantial thoroughfare going east and west at the halfway point between Dunlap or Olive, if you go further west, and Peoria, but this isn't one of them. As long as I can remember, this has just been a little tiny stretch that exists between 29th and I-17. Looks like it still is. Probably not supposed to be on this side, but at least I talked to somebody who was a security person, made a positive impression, because he wasn't a complete asshole to me, and just let him know that I'm just kind of shooting some video of the infrastructure being built, and then I have a person. Oh, look at that! That's neat. So the rails are in place, but they're up on. Oh, that's wild. They're up on like chunks of wood. That's interesting that they put the rails in place and then cast the cement under them. I would have always figured the cement went in first and then the rails, but here you're seeing it. That's the real deal. There's rails up on very meticulously measured wooden blocks, I think that is. And there's the cast cement going in under it. This is exciting. I really, really, really hope that whatever developer and the city of Phoenix, I know I talk so negatively about it, and that's just because I'm a realist. Saying, but I want this to work. I can't help but think that when Valley Metro Light Rail was put in like 14 years ago, that if this would have been part of the initial plan, if a connection to Metro Center would have been part of the original plan, this area would have never become the homeless fentanyl wasteland that it is now. I really believe that. Metro Center in its heyday, as that guy said, Metro Center in its heyday was a destination. In my mind, it'll always be the greatest mall ever. And the best example I've ever seen of it is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. We still got some pretty upscale-ish hotels here. I mean, there's the Courtyard by Marriott. It still seems to be holding its own, in spite of it being fucking fentanyl city around it. This is awesome. You know, the shitty thing is I know I can't cross the freeway here. And I'm not going to try to climb up on the new rail overpass. This is awesome. I really should come through here in the daytime. Oh, that's so cool looking. I love how we got the reinforced cast on each side to handle the weight of the train. Oh, this is so cool. Yeah, this is a much cooler way to spend my night, other than being next to Priscilla frustrated because she won't let me fuck. Yeah, this is way cooler. Oh, this is so neat. You know, the way this goes up and over, because there's not a lot of this in the Valley Metro Light Rail system, this reminds me of the BART, where it goes through the neighborhood where my dad lived as a child in Albany, California. Like, the way that's up in the air like that, I hope y'all can hear me because I-17 is loud. That is totally what the BART looks like. And the BART was just largely a subway system, but this is what the BART looks like, where it goes through Albany, California, and El Cerrito, California. And as a kid, I wanted to ride it so bad. My parents weren't about that. They're like, no, that's nothing. What is that? That's fascinating. Oh, no, that's nothing. Parents not fans of public transportation. Now I'm once again walking in a place I shouldn't be. I hope you all can hear me. I-17 is loud. This is so cool. Still an unfinished project. I really hope nobody gets fucked with my car, because technically I'm trespassing, but hopefully they got... Oh, we got another... Oh, this is just vacant. I don't remember what restaurant this used to be. I want to say TGI Fridays, but I'm not sure. But here we got a big sign that probably is being left there because grandfather clauses, and they probably can't build a new sign that big. And there's some kind of an empty restaurant spot there. Will it ever come back? I don't know. Again, this used to be like a very solidly middle class. This was a happening part of town in the 70s and the 80s and even into the 90s. And somewhere around the late 90s, early 2000s, it just fell to shit. I wish I could remember what restaurant that used to be. If anybody knows, post it in the comments. Voice in the back of my head is saying it was TGI Fridays, and another voice in the back of my head is like saying, no, you asshole, TGI Fridays is north of here. So, I don't remember what that restaurant was. And maybe I can look it up online, but northeast corner, I-17, Black Canyon Freeway, and Mountain View. This is Fajitas on the right. It looks like it might still be Fajitas. God, I wish my camera shot better video when it's this dark. I'm looking at my screen and I just see darkness, but when I look with my eyes, the sign that says Fajitas is still pretty clear, but it very much looks out of... Oh yeah, this is definitely out of business. All the windows are boarded up and there's chain link, and poles around it. This used to be a pretty nice upscale Mexican restaurant called Fajitas, and I never ate there. I picked up several taxi fares there, and I was dropping passengers in my cabs off to go there, and I've heard nothing but positive stuff about that restaurant, but clearly it's out of business. So we do have a pedestrian path there. Looks like there's a person squatting down there. I'm not walking in that direction. Native Grill and Wings, formerly known as Native New Yorker. Looks like they're still in business. By the way, I'm walking up to Peoria Avenue. I mean, I could have went south and gone back underneath where the canal is, but hey, I'm on this adventure. Business access, Native Grill. Yeah, I'm on this adventure. I'm going to keep doing it until, well, I'm going to keep doing it regardless. It's 4:42 a.m. I got a feeling my phone battery is going to die before I make it back to my car. And hopefully my car is just fine where I left it. A couple things to keep in mind. Security probably doesn't like it there. And surely that old man over at Calvary Church, formerly known as WesTown, called, and God knows how he reported me to the police. I wouldn't be surprised if he said that I was armed, which obviously I'm not, but people love to lie to police, and the police just respond accordingly. I just saw a video on YouTube a few days ago on the Memology 101 channel of a guy who butt dialed 911 and was excited because he made 2 kills.